Welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Friday, October 13th, 2017. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. The Ministry of Education on Nevis, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education on St. Kitts, have been partnering to address the educational needs of children in the Federation. One of the initiatives that was established to address the educational needs is the organization of the Eastern Caribbean States Early Learners Program. Education Officer Terrace Dorr outlined the objective of the program.
This program is being piloted in stages in the primary schools throughout the OECS, and we are well on the way to seeing improvements in the performances of both our teachers and the students. The objective of the Early Learners Program is to improve the reading achievement of all learners at the early primary level, that's kindergarten to grade 3, in 6 member states of the OECS.
Also delivering brief remarks was Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Kevin Barrett.
For us to facilitate the best teaching learning experiences, we need resources. And so this morning I am heartened to see the books and the other teaching and learning materials, and I'm hoping that the schools who would benefit from the distribution today, or the handing over of these items today, that we could see in the not too distant future the products of these things that we have, these materials that we have. We know that the teachers are always asking for additional material and resources, and so we are very happy that we are on board with this program, the Early Learners Program, in the enhancement of our lessons and reading especially. And so I want to say thank you to the OECS and the USAID contribution. We here in the Ministry and the Department of Education, we always welcome collaborative efforts.
Barrett, along with Principal Education Officer Palsy Wilkin, then handed over the resources to the principals of 4 primary schools on the island: Barbara Hendrickson of Joyce Liburd Primary, Latoya Jeffers of the Charlestown Primary, Lucia Wilkinson of Nevis Academy, and Shay Wilkin of the Violet O. Jeffers Nichols Primary School. Early learners teacher at the Nevis Academy, Monica Fraser, expressed her gratitude for the experience.
It's my pleasure to express sincere thanks to the sponsors and coordinators of the Early Learners Program for enriching our skills and methods of teaching and reading at an early age through drama, poetry, songs, pictures, rhymes, drumming, stories, games, and a host of other activities. I am confident that the skills and experiences we have gained will truly assist us to raise the level of reading from K to 3.
The brief handing over ceremony was held at the Department of Education at Marion Heights. In keeping with the theme for Mental Health Awareness Month, which is Mental Health in the Workplace, the Mental Health Unit in the Ministry of Health hosted a mental health fair in Charlestown earlier today. The health fair included yoga and aromatherapy sessions and is the final health fair hosted as part of the month of activities. As part of the activities earlier this week, the unit hosted a workshop titled Mental Health and Drug Addiction in Our Region. Representative of the Department of Youth and Sports, Kelvin Bramble, underscored the significance of the workshop.
This program is a very important program that we see will help the youth officers in the future regarding addiction. This program shows us the effects of addiction in and out of the family, and how it could affect the youths that we might be dealing with every day in sports and in youth programs that we have going on, how it could affect them negatively, and how important it is for us to realize this is actually a problem, and how we could go about creating programs and activities to help the kids deal with such problems so that they don't have to be going through any negative effects of addiction. It is very important for the general public to know how important it is to be aware of addiction, and not just in their lives, but in their families' lives and in the lives of everybody around them. Because addiction could come in the form of, let's say, alcoholic, just blazing on, driving drunk and hitting an innocent pedestrian. Addicts, drug addiction, any type of addiction could be negatively affecting the entire community, and it is really good to be aware of it so that you don't become addicted to anything.
He outlined the significance to the youth workers participating.
This program definitely helps us deal with some of the kids that some of the youth that we might be dealing with on a day-to-day basis, who might be affected by alcohol or drug abuse or any type of addiction in their family, and helps us to figure out ways to help the youth deal with it well, and so they don't have to come out the same way, so they don't get addicted to anything, and so they could be more successful in life.
Participants of the workshop included both public and private entities, including members of the civil society, non-governmental organizations, NGOs, and religious institutions. The Nevis Electricity Company Limited (NEVLEC) advises of a power outage scheduled for Monday, October 16th between the hours of 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Areas to be affected are the Golden Rock area and areas in close proximity. This power outage is to facilitate a distribution system upgrade. NEVLEC apologizes for the disruption in service, and customers are reminded that service may be delayed to later than the specified time. The Minister of Finance and Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honourable Dr. Timothy Harris, convened the 2018 Budget Estimates Committee meetings. During the opening session, the Honourable Prime Minister outlined the process by which the government prepares its annual estimates. That is a very time-consuming exercise, needing a lot of iterations, needing consultation, not only at home with persons at the political level, but also with our international partners, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank, whose job it is to provide an independent perspective on the fiscal road on which the government will embark, Dr. Harris said. Prime Minister Harris continued that ultimately will be the responsibility of Cabinet, of course, to make the final determinations, but we can't ignore the recommendations that we will have from the IMF and the World Bank, who are specialists in fiscal management and whom we have to turn to from time to time to lend their support to a number of budget initiatives. In attendance were the Cabinet of Ministers and government officials, including permanent secretaries and senior representatives from the Ministry of Finance. Last year, on Wednesday, December 7th, the Honourable Prime Minister presented his administration's 2017 budget, which allocated $712.9 million EC dollars to both recurrent and capital expenditure. Still to come, World Food Day activities begin with a gospel relief concert. The details when we return.
Known as Uwali, land of beautiful waters by its native inhabitants, and later nicknamed Queen of the Caribbean by British settlers, Nevis has long relied on its natural prowess and resources to create livelihoods for its people. The people of Nevis have long remained connected to the gifts nature has bestowed. As an ambassador of this majestic island, it is my duty to encourage my people to nurture, preserve, and protect what makes us unique as a people and strong as a country.
This one is dedicated to my lovely little island.
Welcome back. Backyard gardening plays a significant role in the food industry on Nevis, according to Deputy Director of Agriculture, Floyd Liburd.
Some people may feel, in their view, it's not producing enough for the market. But I can tell you that the backyard garden plays a significant role in those supermarkets in providing lettuce, string beans, and so on. Okay, we have some farmers in the Rollins area, some backyard gardeners, who produce significant vegetables, leafy ones, for the fresh market on a weekly basis.
Liburd was speaking at yesterday's Backyard Gardening Initiative workshop held at the Department of Agriculture's conference room at the Backyard Gardening Initiative hosted by the Department of Agriculture in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations. Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Huey Sargeant, urged the participants to put into practice the knowledge gained from the workshop.
Out of today's workshop, I trust that the participants would understand that the potential is significant. Right now, the thrust, particularly as it relates to our changing climate, is to ensure that we use less or fewer resources to improve the quality and indeed the quality of yields of our various products. As I speak about quality, I make specific regard to the nutritional quality our fresh fruits and vegetables provide, and they provide optimal nourishment for our bodies that improve our health, and it goes a long way in keeping us healthy.
Sargeant noted that farming and consuming our own foods can bring about many health benefits.
The farms on our island can provide the foods and not necessarily drugs that can heal our bodies and boost our immune system, energy levels, combat psychological issues such as depression. These are just examples of the benefits of fresh fruits and vegetables. These gardens have an established tradition and offer great potential for improving household food security and alleviating micronutrition deficiencies. Gardening can enhance food security in several ways, and most importantly, direct access to diversity of nutritionally rich foods and to increase purchasing power from savings on food bills.
Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Huey Sargeant. In honor of World Food Day, which is annually celebrated on Monday, October 16th, the Department of Agriculture will be hosting a week of activities which will include a local agro-products tasting day.
We're having a local agro-products tasting day. What this is going to do, we have our agro-processing unit as well as we have our abattoir, and we produce a variety of products on a daily basis, a weekly basis. And sometimes the various householders on Nevis do not know. So we're having a tasting day, and we're going to be set up in the Rams complex, just outside the supermarket, and we're also going to be set up at Best Buy in Gingerland on Monday. Feel free to come by and taste the various products from smoothies to beef burgers, chicken burgers, anything that is produced by the Ministry of Agriculture, whether it's at the abattoir or at the agro-processing unit, and it goes from about 9 on Monday until.
Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Huey Sargeant, is imploring persons on Nevis to go to Best Buy in Gingerland and Rams Supermarket in Charlestown to sample some of the items that will be available. Another one of the activities for World Food Day is the Gospel Relief Concert to be hosted tomorrow, Saturday, October 14th at the Nevis Cultural Village. Admission for the event is $20 EC and it will begin at 7:30 p.m. The headline act for the event is gospel recording artist Bridget Blucher of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The funds raised at the event will go to farmers in Dominica who were affected by Hurricane Maria. And that brings us to the end of this edition of the Nevis Newscast. I am Bronte Swanston Hendrickson. Thank you for viewing.